life is going to hit you. Not might, will. The job, the relationship, the health you took for granted. Marcus Aurelius lost half his empire to plague, buried children, was betrayed by friends. He turned all of it into fuel. Here's how. The job you built your identity around, gone. The relationship you thought was permanent, over. The health you took for granted, threatened. And in that moment, you'll find out what you're actually made of. Not what you think you're made of. Not what you tell people at parties. What you're actually made of when the ground disappears under your feet. Resilience is the most misunderstood word in personal development. Most people think it means toughness, grinding through pain with your teeth clenched, refusing to show weakness. That's not resilience. That's rigidity. And rigid things break. Real resilience isn't about being hard. It's about being adaptable. It's about absorbing the hit, processing it, and coming back. Not the same as you were, but stronger. Not unchanged, but upgraded. The tree that survives the hurricane isn't the stiffest one. It's the one that bends. The Stoics understood this better than anyone in history. They lived through wars, plagues, exile, slavery, and political chaos. They didn't survive by being tough. They survived by having a philosophy that made suffering useful. They took the worst things that happened to them and extracted wisdom, strength, and purpose from the wreckage. This isn't inspirational fluff. It's a system. And it's the reason Stoic philosophy has survived for 2,000 years, while most ancient schools of thought disappeared, because it was tested in real crises by real people, and it worked. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Plain English, the thing that's blocking you isn't separate from your path. It is your path. Every obstacle contains within it the exact lesson, skill, or strength you need to reach the next level. This is the single most powerful idea in Stoic philosophy. Not that obstacles are tolerable, not that you should accept them, but that they are literally the material you need to grow. The obstacle is the curriculum. Lost your job? That's forced reinvention, and the person who comes out the other side will have more range, more adaptability, more hunger than the person who stayed comfortable. Relationship ended? That's forced self-knowledge, and the person who does the inner work will build something better next time. Health crisis? That's forced priority, and the person who faces mortality directly will never waste another day on things that don't matter. Marcus Aurelius didn't theorize about this. He lived it. The Antonine Plague killed between 5 and 10 million people in his empire. He couldn't stop it. But he could manage the response, care for the sick, keep the government functioning, and use the crisis to practice every virtue he believed in. Justice, courage, temperance, wisdom. The plague was the obstacle, and Marcus used it as the way. The habit that breaks this. Take the biggest challenge in your life right now, the thing that feels like it's blocking you. Write it down. Then ask, what is this obstacle forcing me to develop? Patience, courage, creativity, independence? The answer is there. The obstacle isn't just in the way, it's the way. Epictetus wrote, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Plain English, resilience isn't something you develop during the crisis. It's something you build before it. The Stoics trained their minds daily so that when disaster arrived, they had a fortress to operate from. Most men try to become resilient in the middle of a crisis. That's like trying to learn to swim after the boat is sunk. It's too late. The time to build resilience is when life is calm, when things are good, when you have the space to practice. The Stoics called this building your inner citadel, a mental fortress that cannot be breached by external events. Not because you don't feel pain, because you've trained yourself to process pain without being destroyed by it. You've developed the habit of separating what you can control from what you can't. You've practiced facing worst-case scenarios in your mind so they don't paralyze you in reality. Epictetus spent years as a slave, building his inner citadel. By the time he was free, nothing could touch him. Not poverty, not physical disability, not exile. Because he'd done the work in advance. He'd trained his mind to be independent of circumstance. The habit that breaks this: start a daily Stoic practice now, while things are manageable. 5 minutes every morning. Review what's within your control today and what isn't. Release the second category. Focus on the first. This simple exercise, done daily for months, builds the mental infrastructure that holds you together when everything else falls apart. Seneca wrote, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." Plain English: suffering is not pointless unless you make it so. Every hardship you face is an opportunity to forge something stronger, but only if you choose to use it that way. There are two responses to suffering. The first, collapse into it. Let it define you. Become the man who was wronged, who was unlucky, who got dealt a bad hand. Carry it as your identity. Use it as an excuse for everything that follows. This is the easy path, and it leads nowhere. The second, use it. Study it. Ask what it's teaching you. Let the pain burn away the parts of you that were weak, the illusions you were holding on to, the comforts you were hiding behind. Come out of the fire as a different person, not damaged, but tempered. Seneca was exiled to the island of Corsica for 8 years, ripped from his career, his social position, his entire life. He could have rotted there. Instead, he wrote some of the greatest philosophical works in history. He used exile as a laboratory for his own ideas. Every principle he'd ever taught, acceptance, inner freedom, the irrelevance of external status, he now had to live. And he did. The difference between suffering that strengthens and suffering that destroys is one thing: the meaning you give it. If you believe your suffering is punishment, random, cruel, pointless, it will break you. If you believe it's material, raw, painful, but usable, it will build you. The habit that breaks this. Think of the hardest thing you've survived. Write down what it taught you. Write down how it made you stronger. Write down the version of you that existed before it, and compare that person to who you are now. You'll find that your worst experiences produced your best growth. That's not coincidence. That's the Stoic forge at work. Here's your resilience builder. Step 1. Write your adversity inventory. List the 5 hardest things you've survived in your life. Not to wallow, to take stock. You're still here. That means you're already more resilient than you think. Step 2. Next to each one, write what you gained from it. A skill, a perspective, a relationship, a strength. You lost something in each of those moments, but you also gained something. Name it. Step 3. Write your current challenge at the bottom of the list, the thing that feels overwhelming right now. Then ask, when I look back on this in 5 years, what will I have gained from it? You might not know the answer yet, but asking the question shifts your frame from victim to student. And that shift is everything. Step 4. Design one daily practice that builds your inner citadel. It can be journaling. It can be meditation. It can be physical training. It can be reading philosophy for 10 minutes before bed. Choose one practice that trains your mind to be steady under pressure, and commit to it for 30 days. Not because you need it today, because you'll need it on the day you can't see coming. You will be tested, not once, repeatedly. The job will disappear. The relationship will change. The body will break down. People you trust will fail you. And in each of those moments, you will have a choice. The same choice the Stoics had 2,000 years ago. Will this destroy me, or will I use it? Marcus Aurelius chose to use everything: plague, war, betrayal, loss. He took every catastrophe and turned it into a chapter of growth. Not because he was superhuman, because he had a practice. Because he built his resilience before he needed it. Because he chose, every single day, to see obstacles as material rather than punishments. You are more resilient than you know. The proof is your history. Look back at what you've already survived, and you'll realize you've been forging yourself this whole time. You just didn't have the Stoic framework to see it clearly. Now you do. You're not fragile. You're not stuck. You're not finished. You're in the forge, and the fire isn't destroying you. It's building you. Let it. If this helped you, hit subscribe and stay close. Drop a comment below. What hit hardest? I read every reply. We're building this together.